You know that, and that really is what we need to handle missions like One Health. But what also came out in the research consortium that we created for COVID was, when we mapped the entire research to product value chain, we realized that while we've invested a lot in many of the laboratory research groups in the industries, in our manufacturing capacity, there were still gaps. Like animal models, our research institutes had to only wait for models to come in from overseas. Within the country, we did not have animal models, so we created those sites. We also realized that there would be multiple vaccine trials that would be held within the country, and that required not only clinical trial sites, but also required immunogenicity labs, and we created those labs. That network is now available for us. And I think from connecting globally groups to groups within the country, having very, very strong collaborative biological data center now, which is now positioned at RCB in Faridabad, that is the response that we need for One Health. Complete self-reliance. I mean, we couldn't really have self-reliance diagnostic in 60 days if we didn't have such a well-organized framework in place. So why do we have to wait for a COVID or a pandemic to respond to? It was this group which came out, let's do it for a mission like One Health. How did we do it? It was actually, and I think that's really what we do. We really need to sound the what we do for One Health now. For all the investors who are in this group today, funders, government agencies, we need to invest in high-risk research. We need to connect our basic translational, clinical and implementation research in the area of One Health. Believe me, to start documenting it, you'll realize that a lot is happening, but we're not connected. We need to create those, connect those dots and create that robust ecosystem. We need to continuously keep fueling that innovation pipeline. Dipangata and this whole IKP One Health incubator is going to be a wonderful example, because I know you've got global connection. And if it's One Health, it has to be one world. It cannot be India, Southeast Asia, Europe, US. No, it has to be a one world that we look at. Global access to resources. Let's make it a common framework. How did it work in COVID again and go back to it? Basically accelerated. It brought in the diagnostic thing, we brought in the vaccine. Today created those multiple sites for manufacturing. The vaccines, we are looking at industries now sharing their technologies in different countries and creating those manufacturing hubs. That's what we need. If we have communicating what the issue is to the public, collaborating with each other, and more importantly, One Health consortia. Means for the to accelerate progress in all countries, collaborate for more effective action, but more importantly, invest in One Health, because we are then investing for a sustainable future. And for that secure future, please, my only vision here is, let's not stop innovating. If you stop innovating, then who really is going to, and not just this group, you have to look at your connected network to be able to say, we need to innovate for a sustainable future, and One Health is our priority to take it up. So thank you all very much. It's been wonderful. I wish I was with you to have more discussion, but thank you all. Thank you so much.
About for me personally for One Health, but it's really wonderful. Thank you for beautifully taking us to the next keynote as well as to the panel discussion. I think you've beautifully set the stage for that. So I thank you for your time.
Thank you all, and yes, I will attend it.
Before I move to our next keynote speaker, he is uniquely qualified. He's for AMR. Please welcome Dr. Ramanan Lakshminarayan.
Months ago, so a pitch for this podcast, which actually covers a whole bunch of things related to One Health, which you might find of interest, which came out from the One Health Trust. So let me see if I can make this stuff happen. So I'm going to, those of you who know me know that I'll bring in AMR in some way or the other into any talk. So I will run an our thread through this talk as well. But the broader concept of One Health, I feel like, yes, it's now, it's been around for thousands of years. In fact, this was the predominant paradigm. This is Chief Sial exactly what we can do in order to understand that place and then figure out what we as people who innovate or do research can help as part of this. Now, what Chief Seattle basically said is really what you now see in these very fancy sort of diets to companion animals, and we share a lot. We live in a world of we live in a world of bacteria in the sense that we're fish. The fact that there are more of us, the global population is set to increase, grow at least 50% from 2000 to 2050. It should start declining by 2080, but it just means that the opportunities for this interface are far greater now than they ever were. Now, if you take the global biomass, and there's a very nice paper on this, another 60% is the animals that well, not all of us, some of us are vegetarian, but we as a collective, human, race eat. And that's a considerable amount of, all of those are basically cattle and pigs, mostly pigs, and most of those pigs happen to be in China. So the biomass of poultry, which obviously is not mammalian, is about 3 times higher than that of wild birds. So just imagine if we and the animal, everything else is in that last 4%. And so we have taken over the planet in a big way. So One Health is far more meaningful as a concept today than it even was when Chief Siap was talking about it, because there wasn't as much of the mammalian biomass that was just concentrated around us as a species. Today, it's all concentrated around us as a species. If you look at global distributions of cattle, pigs, chickens, and ducks, you again see that it's not just the world. You particularly see places in India. So you take cattle. I don't know how many of you know this, but India has more cattle than China, the European Union, and the United States put together. How many of you knew this? Okay, that's about 2 people in the room at the back. And if Sindhura were, he would have known that as well. Yes, so that's most of the cattle in the world that are actually here, right? And I'll show you that in the next slide. And of course, ducks is often high-income countries, but is really taking off in LMICs. So when you talk of One Health, it's not some abstract concept somewhere else. It is this stuff. We're raising a lot more meat. It's happening to grow 7-fold between 2000 and 2030. It's already grown by a considerable amount in the main body of the paper, because now one of the ways in which we can look for risk is really also related to, but this particularly in the Indian setting is extremely